You are bad at social media. And that's okay because I was bad at social media too. And none of us are perfect. But as gym owners, we don't really value social media as much as we should, as much as it can be an asset for our business. When I owned my gym, I went really hard into paid marketing and I saw amazing returns on that. So I just really didn't ever venture into seriously considering organic social media until really the end of my term in gym ownership. But what I've seen is those gyms that take organic social media seriously, they attract warm and hot clients and referrals on a regular basis because they understand that it's a long-term game. And that's really the difference is if you are running just paid marketing, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, you're going to get leads today. If you are, but they are colder leads, they are harder to work with, they are more slippery and generally less desirable fish. That being said, I've gotten some great long-term members from Facebook, but wouldn't you rather have people come in who are just ready to buy because they already know, like, and trust you from your content, or they've been referred to you by seeing a piece of your content from one of your friends? That would be awesome, right? So what we need to think about is that this is a long-term play we're making here. Now, I love this stat. I'm going to throw it out again because I think it really helps to serve you, the gym owner, in your thinking about certain aspects of your business. It is of the 100% of people who are looking at your business, 50% of those people are never going to buy from you. They just never are. Of the 50% who will buy, 15%, that's 1/5, are now buyers, and 85% are later buyers. They're going to buy within the next 6 to 18 or 24 months. So it's quite a while. And what do we typically do? We're like, hey, now buyers, come here. Later buyers, see you later, right? We don't really care. We don't do anything for those people. We don't have long-term nurture, right? We don't have a way to keep them interested because maybe you've been thinking about doing something for a while. I don't know. You wanted to try kite surfing or bread making or whatever it is. And just now is not the right time for you. But in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, it will be the right time. And wouldn't it be great if you already knew the exact setup, the person, the guide, the product, or whatever that you needed to start doing the thing you're thinking about? That can be your gym for somebody in your area, for a lot of people in your area. Once it lines up, because we know that people make excuses, as do we, as to, oh, now's not the right time, this and that. But whether or not it's an excuse or not, for those people, it is true. So just keep your local audience warmed up, and that will serve you very, very well long term. So let's get into actually how do we do this? How do we make good social media for gyms? Okay, well, the first thing is you have to commit. You have to commit to frequency because as somebody who has started social media and YouTube channels and that kind of stuff, it's not fast. It doesn't happen fast. But if you keep showing up on a consistent basis, people will say, oh, this guy shows up on a Tuesday. He shows up every Tuesday. I look forward to his thing. And so you're going to start to build an audience. And by the way, every post you make, even people who are following you are not very likely to see it. So my recommendation is to post Monday to Friday. Post on Facebook and Instagram. Don't use the repost feature. Just literally, I go to Facebook, I post the video or the photo, and then I write the text, and then I copy the text, just like literally, Control C, and then I go over to Instagram and I put the same video or photo in there, and then I paste the text, I do some formatting, and I do that. The programs like it. Facebook and Instagram like it when you post natively to their platforms instead of using some kind of an app or just a post to both. So take the extra literally minute or two to post to both platforms. So pick your frequency and be consistent with it. If you know you can only do 3 times a week, start with 3. If you can do 5, great. If you can do 7, amazing, right? But just pick your frequency and stick to it. Now, the platforms are pretty easy because it's Facebook and Instagram for gyms. You don't have to do other things. Now, you do get bonus points if you do decide to make long form content. So if you want to do YouTube or you want to do a podcast, you get bonus points. Why though? Why would you do those things? Well, a couple of reasons. The major one would be that those warm up audiences, those basically can take somebody who's on the fence and they see some of your long form content or they see a lot of your long form content. They're like, I want what this person is selling. They basically, bingers or buyers. If you can give somebody long form content that breaks beliefs and shows value and solves their problems and just moves them closer and closer to taking action, then you win, right? Especially if you're chatting with someone and they have some kind of, I'm not sure how to eat for travel or how to do this or how to do that. And you're like, oh, well, I have a resource for that. Do you want to check out this episode of my podcast that will solve that exact problem? Yeah, they would love to check that out. So if you have some resources like that, that's amazing. But we're talking about just the lowest hanging fruit here today. Oh, I didn't go over reason number 2. Reason number 2 for those would be backlinks. And that's just a fancy way to say that we would put the link to YouTube on your website, which makes both of those things easier to find, right? It basically is going to help generate traffic for your website, which if you have a good website, if you're working with us, will help to convert those people into leads, which then become members. So anyway, those are the 2 reasons to do it. But that's going to be the general gist of, frequency and platform and kind of long form, yay or nay. You can do blogs as a side note, but blogs are, they're not as consumable. If I just flip somebody a podcast episode, it's more passive versus you have to actively read with your eyes, and people are just not as into that lately. Not that blogs are a terrible idea, but I would stick with podcast or YouTube, and I just really wouldn't go any further, any much more past that. Now, the last thing to talk about is how do you want to batch your content? Not the last thing. The last thing before we get into the actual what to post section. And after the what to post section, by the way, there's going to be some do's and don'ts, so stay tuned for that. But is to figure out how do you want to make the content. Do you want to make it on a daily basis? I find when I'm starting something new, I want to make content every day because I get my most fresh and best ideas. The quality is higher. Once I've gotten more comfortable with something, I can start to do a week at a time. I can start to do 2 weeks at a time. There is a point at which it drops off. Like for me, owning my gym, I would start to write the workouts. I'd write the programming, and I would write it a week at a time. I'd write it 2 weeks at a time. I went out as far as a month at a time, right? And because you can look through cycles of quarters and years and this and that. But the further, like basically past the 2-week mark, my program started to suffer. It became redundant. It wasn't creative. It wasn't as fun, etc. So I knew for me that I wouldn't go out past the 2-week mark. So figure out how best to batch your content so that it is of the best quality for you and kind of checks that box if it's also convenient to do. I think once a week is a very good medium for most people. Cool. So that's going to be that as far as like the checking the boxes of before you even start. Now, let's get into what do you actually post? Well, it's a pretty simple rotation of content. The first thing that you're going to want to post is testimonials and client wins. If you want to move somebody towards a sale, towards becoming a member, you want to check 3 boxes, right? Which are egos, logos, and pathos. Basically, that is Greek words for you want to have social proof. People know that they can trust you. You want to have something that's emotional to help them move to a take action. And you have something that speaks to their logical mind as well. Like, yeah, this does make sense. So if we can check all those boxes, we win. Through our content that we're going to put out here, we certainly are going to do that. So testimonials, obviously build that trust. If it works for them, it can work for me. This can also be client wins as well. Not just like, hey, I lost 20 pounds, although that's the kind of stuff that will do the best by far. Before and afters, like just crush. But you can do like, hey, this person ran their first 5K, 10K, marathon, or competed or did this for the first time. Staying away from hardcore stuff is better, but client wins in general are amazing, and make sure to tag them. And that's going to be just one big overall tip for this video. I'm using my hands a lot today, is to tag people as much as possible. Again, don't be lazy. Take the extra 20, 30 seconds that it's going to take to tag somebody, because what you want is engagement, and you tag that person, they post it on their story, their friend sees it, et cetera, et cetera. So the more you can spread it around, it's social media, the better, right? So tagging people, always essential wherever possible. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so testimonials, client wins is number 1. Make sure that you're gathering those things on a regular basis. Every time a client has a big win, that's a good time to grab a testimonial. By the way, just, hey, would you mind saying a few words about what this means to you? And pull out your phone and just do it. Okay, cool. The second thing you're going to do is connection posts, right? People don't buy coaching, they buy coaches. You are your brand, right? And this is another tangent that I won't go deeply into, but small gyms, micro gyms, especially CrossFit gyms, no one cares about your logo or your colors or like whatever kind of Kool-Aid you serve. They don't care. They don't know. They never will. You are the brand, right? You're the personality behind it. So put yourself out there a little bit. Basically, like, what are the three things that you love? Like I post a lot about bread. I like coffee. I post about working out. Those are kind of the three things, but you're your brand. Put yourself out there for people to see and connect with you on a one-to-one level as a human, not as a business entity, because they don't care about your business at all. They care about the people who run it, which is you. Number three is to break beliefs. This is super, super important, right? I work on this all the time where gym owners feel like they're only allowed to make a certain amount of money. Otherwise, it makes them greedy or bad or whatever. But it's like, no, that's absolutely not true. You as a gym owner should be trying to make as much money as possible, because that gives you the greatest impact to reach more people and help them and, let them live longer, healthier, more fulfilling lives through what you do in the gym. Do you think that like Coca-Cola or McDonald's or Netflix is going to help people do that? No, but those are billion-dollar companies. So you as the gym owner should be trying to scoop up as much of the market as possible so you can spread the goodness, which is what you do for people. So get rid of that limiting belief and plug in the new one, which is like, my job is to grow so I can help more people, which means I'm going to earn more money. That's just a necessary part of growth, right? Or a necessary benefit of growth. So that would be an example of breaking beliefs. Or like, I need to be fit before I can join a gym. That would be, or I don't have time, or this or that. Like, make posts about that. And that could be client stories, or it could just be a straight up like picture with words that says like, I don't have time to go to the gym, or I don't know how to eat, or blah, blah, blah. Break those beliefs on a consistent basis. Number four is to demonstrate. And by demonstrate, I don't mean teach people how to air squat or like throw a punch or like do a guillotine choke or whatever it is you teach. Don't do that. No one cares. No one's like, oh, I'm going to push my knees out and my hips are going to go below parallel. This information is helping me. Like, no one gives a shit. So don't demonstrate those things. Demonstrate things that are useful to people, that are going to answer their questions, that are going to make them more comfortable and make them feel more safe interacting with you. Like, hey, what's the new member journey look like, right? Or like, what do the first 30 days look like for a new member at your gym? Sweet, we can work with this. This is going to put people at ease. What does the first class look like? Right? What does a bring a friend day look like? And, what does working with you nutrition coaching look like? You can do a little bit of movement demonstration if you want. The asterisk to this is like, you're going to do the corny stuff if you're looking for engagement, which is like specific body part targeting. Basically like core stuff and glute stuff, like the vanity body parts. People love that. Yeah, we know you can't spot reduce fat just by doing isolation exercises, but people love that. So if you want to throw in some like, hey, this is a good butt burner exercise, like you can do that kind of stuff for engagement. But really you want to demonstrate how your product or service works, and you want to answer the questions that people don't even know that they have before they start to do business with you. And number five is to invite people. Send out regular invites. You can say, hey, send me a DM if you want this free nutrition cheat sheet, or hey, send me a DM if you want to come in and do a free class, or take our no sweat intro, where we're going to take you from A to Z and break down what your goals are, how to get there, and give you an exact plan to walk out of here to be successful, blah blah blah. Like, make an invite. Free classes, intros, like freebie downloads to get lead information, like that kind of stuff, or just DM to start a conversation is great. So just make sure you're sending an invitation once in a while. And how often do you want to post this content? Like, literally, you can just cycle through the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testimonial, connect, break belief, demonstrate, invite. Boom, 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 boom. All the way down, right? You can also do a little bit of that stuff in the stories as well. The stories for me, though, is just kind of like the day in the life over and over. So that's what I would use it as, and post just 2 to 3 story clips a day that are short. Now, let's talk about the favorite parts, the don'ts, the don't do these. Because when I see gym owners' social media, I look at it and I just don't do that. I don't know why you're doing that. This is not good. I don't know who this is for. Actually, it's for you. You're posting it as basically like an inside joke, especially CrossFit gyms. It's like, don't do that. So here are the don'ts. Don't post hardcore stuff, because when people are looking at your Instagram grid or your Facebook feed or whatever it is, they're checking you out. They're checking you out to see if this is somebody that I maybe want to work with. Now, if you want to post like crazy stuff, cool. Post it in your internal Facebook group or whatever kind of internal group that you have. But things that are outward facing, generally speaking, keep them very like, Billy the accountant, Susie soccer mom, just general population friendly. No crazy bloody hands, bloody nose, max rep deadlift thruster, this workout killed me, ha ha ha, kind of a thing. Like burpees in the snow would be a great example of something like, yeah, that's funny, that's fun, but like, bloody hand a million pull-ups workout, not fun. So you get it. Okay, number 2 is don't post about the nuances of your programming because no one cares. The chances that people are going to see your post are very small. So when they do see your post, you want to make sure that they actually are engaging with your content. So the nuanced stuff, as much as we like to talk about technique, like I could talk about, clean and jerks and snatches and muscle ups and, all that stuff all day, but people don't care because they don't know. They don't have a reason to care, right? So ignore that stuff and then ignore all the no rep, just like bullshit kind of minutia of whatever it is you're doing. And this again applies to everybody. I speak CrossFit because that's where I'm from, but like it can apply to whatever. If you're a BJJ gym and you're posting about like roll this way to get out of heel hooks, it's like no one cares, right? Or F45 or yoga, it's like just no one cares about that stuff. It's like keep it general, make it useful for the people and move on. So that's it. Don't scare people off with shitty content. Make the good stuff. Stick to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and move on. Okay, so now what do you actually post in terms of like video, photo, et cetera, et cetera? Let's run through that real quick. Rotate. So, and also choose your best stuff. So you have the option of photos, videos, carousels, which are just many photos, and boomerangs. They all work and they all can be turned into ads, by the way. So if you do a good job with organic social media and you are confident, not even confident, you're ready to run some ads, I would be boosting posts to my local audience, right? Like a general radius around your gym, depends on your area, but let's say 5 miles or really anywhere from like 8 to 3. People are going to start seeing your stuff and you're going to warm them up to your content, and your best performing ads that get the most engagement organically are the ones you can start to put a little bit of money behind. And that's another training for another day, but it's a good idea because it's the people telling you what they like before you put money behind it, because more people will see what the people are already liking. And then in terms of the video, photo, boomerang stuff, like just do what you're best at. Obviously rotate a little bit, don't always do the same thing, but I like video more than I like photos, so I tend to do more videos, right? But just give people a chance to see it because different people prefer consuming different types of media. And then for the captions, don't be lazy. Don't type like a 1 sentence caption or 2. Like go ahead and write something out that makes sense, and that will compel people to read it, right? It's like, what's your goal? Is to get somebody to read the next line. That's really literally the goal of all your stuff. And experiment with short, medium, and long form copy, right? Writing on your post in the caption. So don't skimp on that because it does matter. People will read it. And then recycle your content. It's not that you're literally going to recycle the same post, although you could. It's that you're recycling the same ideas, right? How many different things do we need to talk about in the fitness space when we know that people's main goal is to look better and feel better? Not that many things, right? There's probably 5 core topics we need to talk about. Same is true for business. Same is true for, making pizza, like just the same few things we talk about over and over. So just get your main themes down and then keep repeating them because people are not seeing all your content. So even though you think you sound like a broken record, people just aren't seeing it. So make sure that you are out there giving people the same information over and over, just with slight variations, because that's the stuff that they need to hear anyway. And then again, remember to tag people as often as possible, because that is going to help actually start conversations and get engagement and teach the algorithm that your stuff is worth showing to more people. And so that's going to do it for today's video on organic social media. Hopefully you found it useful. Definitely put this into play. And then if you're not sure what to do with the leads once you actually get them, I've got a really great training. It's going to be in one of the cards on the screen about how to convert your trials basically in the easiest. It's like a no sale, no sleeves, no bait and switch. It works for gyms all over the world. I highly recommend it. So check out that video and we will see you in the next one.